Hello everybody, it's your boy and here I'm coming at you guys with another YouTube video. So in today's video it is going to be the absolute best bunny build you can make after the arcade tuning update. So let's get right on into it. So starting off with the build, let's talk about it. So this is the build that you might be running something similar to, but let's break it down a little bit better. We're using high voltage for our damage and this is going to be our main red module. I am making a video for a build with electric condense because I do personally prefer that, but I'm going to give you both options. So this is primarily based around high damage because we're running singular specialist, power increase, electric and singular amplification. Now this is also a non-crit build obviously, and we are going to be scaling our skim cost all the way up. So if we are using both modules over here, maximize conservation and strong mentality, we're going to have 50% skill cost, meaning our second ability is going to kick very nicely. We're using amplification control instead of range because the tree is going to max out our range anyways. We're using HP for HP amplification and then dangerous ambush just for an extra kick of damage. Now let's talk about the next aspect of this tree, which is the arcade tuning tree. Now for the tree, this is what I've gone with. So it's a complete damage tree as well as other elements of this such as MP and duration and stuff like that. So I've gone all the way up to max MP over here, and then as the time of recording this, enhanced skill ration and enhanced skill power modifier are both absolutely bugged to hell. So once this is fixed, this build will become better. Just hold it out, thug it out. Nexon, please fix this fast, please and thank you. So if you do look at my bunny's HP, I've got 12,000, which is quite nice. Next up, let's talk about the reactor and the external components. For the reactor, I've gone with any mounting, electric and singular in the middle, and then I've gone with skill cost and duration up. Now I am going to talk a little bit further about the reactor and the difference as well as the external components because you can do a lot more with this build. But the skill cost on here is very nice because that means your second ability is going to be even more viable. Duration up is going to keep your third up for that much longer as well. So like I said, I will break this down further in the video. Let's just talk about that later. Now there's no Slayer set. I'm going to talk about this later in the video. So for now, I'm running two pieces of the Ascending Armory for negative skill cost. This is specifically here because of the skill cost that you can get. And then two pieces of Annihilation for duration, which is going to work nicely. If you look at this prospectively, you can see that I've got 22 cooldown and 23 duration. Now, this is again, like I said, it's bugged. The numbers are incorrect because of the skill tree, but we're going to hit plenty of damage. Let's go into the gameplay and then let's talk about every other thing that we really need to talk about. Okay, so let's start off by talking about some Sigma Sector gameplay. Now, as you can see here, Bunny with the spawn trap going crazy. It would just be nice if we had more tendrils coming out of Bunny with the high voltage. That would make it a lot better. But that aside, you can see we are hitting a very nice numbers, around 300 to 400 to 500k per tick, which is still very satisfying. Now in any hard mode, this is enough to kill any trash mobs in a singular hit. This will also do pretty promising damages up against the elites, so you don't need to worry about that either. Now I would say truly that if you are using high voltage, this is the build to go to right now. High voltage is obviously, you know, a really good way to run Bunny, and then this is also the best way to use high voltage in my opinion. Now you can see with my skill cost, I'm not really having too much MP drain on my second ability whilst using it for a long period of time. Now this can be changed to be going to a complete infinite MP, however I'm waiting for the developers to fix the arcade tree for that to be possible. So once that tree is fixed, I'm going to have another updated video showing you the absolute infinite MP on it, but don't worry about that right now. Now, as I was saying, my skill cost is also fairly good. Now, I am going to talk about Slayer set and the difference and all that sort of stuff at a slight later point in this video, so just, you know, keep watching, enjoy yourself. And you can see even out of the Sigma Sector run, we are still hitting very nice damage. Now, this is not the limit of this damage. Bear in mind, these are enemies that have extra resistance towards everything in Sigma Sector anyways, and I'm still hitting some fairly nice damage on them. But when you do switch over to enemies that do not have any resistance to electricity, such as the Order of Truth, the ball game will completely and utterly change. So what I mean by that is when you are fighting the Order of Truth, you will be hitting 700,000 damage to over 1 million damage. In my instance, I did see 1,077,000 damage, but you know, we're still capable of hitting into the millions of damage with this build as well. So you know, you can literally absolutely dog. If you are up against Order of Truth, this build is going to have an absolute field day when it comes to destroying the mobs. Now, of course, not every single hit is going to be a million damage hit, but when it's not, you're still not going to have any issues because your hits are still going to be more than capable. 700,000 damage a hit, or even 800, 900,000 damage a hit is still so capable. You won't need to worry about anything, and you know, it just goes to show that when you really do lock in with the skill tree, you are able to pull crazy levels of numbers. Previously, you were able to achieve this anyways, but you'd have to go complete damage, and you'd have to miss out with your skill cost. Now with this, it's actually viable to have a mix and blend of both, as well as good HP and everything else. Now I'll show you some 400% gameplay as well, because you know, we've got to have the trifecta, that being Sigma Sector, Spec Ops, 400%, and then I'll give you a little bit more important information. So here is some 400% gameplay. You don't need any introduction to it. Bunny just one-shots everything. That's all you need to know. She's just great for everything, and with this build, she's genuinely that much greater. It works perfectly and is truly a one-for-all style of build. Now, this is going to be the last bit of gameplay I show before I start going into analyzing the Slayer set and showing you the literal difference and all you actually need to accomplish Slayer set damage without even having the Slayer set. Okay, so inside this run, I am using my normal getup. I'm using my skill cost duration up reactor, 2 pieces of ascending armory, and 2 pieces of annihilation set. So we're just in a Sigma sector right now, so let's just quickly have a look at how this goes. On average, you can see we're hitting the 200k that are starting to rise up to about 300, bordering around about 400k, 370, 380ish, so nearing enough 400,000. Let's just call it that for argument's sake, or 370 to 380, because you know, most hits are around 350, around about 350,000 damage range. So now we've spawned into another run. Let's have a look at this. So we're using the same reactor, and then we are using the Slayer set instead of the 2-piece armory and 2-piece annihilation. Now with this, let's have a look at the damage, because there will be some difference. You can see we've already scaled up to around the 370k that we already had prior, and we're touching around 400, 415, around about just shy of 400k, 440s occasionally, but we're around about scraping 400k in terms of our actual damage hits, in terms of our numbers right now. So now what we have done in this run is we are using a different reactor with singular and duration up instead of skill cost. We've gone back to the 2-piece annihilation and gone back to the 2-piece of armory. So let's see what difference just having singular on the reactor will make. So let's have a gander. So you can see we've already hit our 300k, and we've hit into the exact same numbers, 415, 440s, around about there. So you can completely replace the Slayer set by just using singular on your reactor, and that is literally all you need. You will hit around 380k, which is around about what we were getting with the Slayer set as well, but literally to replace the Slayer set, all you need is singular on your reactor, and that is literally all. So the final mix that you could use out of all of this is going to be the singular on the reactor and then also the Slayer set. So let's have a look at what this does now. Now, it's not going to be any surprise that you'll probably, well, you're basically guaranteed to hit probably the most damage out of this. As you can see here, we've already scaled up into the 400k's, and we're reaching into the around about, no, it's about the same. It's still gonna hit you, give you around 400, 450, and maybe the occasional 500 when you hit a weak point. But the main thing on this is that I personally think that this skill cost drain is too much. Now I know you will get MP dropping and stuff like that. We're hitting around 450k now, which is still pretty nice, but I don't think that this is going to make a drastic difference. So you are honestly better off with just singular on the reactor and without the Slayer set. Now why would I say this? It's because, put simply, if you have more skill cost on your bunny, you can use your second ability and run for longer. Not everybody has a sprint speed weapon or a stat stick that will allow them to keep at max sprint speed, which is completely okay. In this instance, you would want to have more skill cost on your bunny just to make yourself, you know, deal with the skill or MP reduction a little bit better. Another thing is that even with the other build, you would still one-shot. You're not going to be able to one-shot any faster. A one-shot is still a one-shot. For all the trash, this is just going to work just as good. As for the elites, yes, you will be doing more damage to the elites. It might be 1 or 2 or at absolute most 3 bunny ticks faster, and to get 3 bunny ticks to scale when you're using her grapple is basically instant, or even if you're running, you can get 3 ticks to scale over like a second or 2. So I genuinely don't think this damage difference is enough to justify using a Slayer set. Anyways guys, that's basically been this video, and I hope you have enjoyed. This is well and truly the absolute best high voltage build in the game right now, and I would 1,000,000% suggest you invest in this, because if you enjoy playing bunny, or even if you want to play bunny a bit more, this is going to be absolutely great. Now I'm not done, because I am also making an electric condense video, and I've not decided which one I'm going to release first. If I release the electric condense video first, you know, hey ho. If I release the high voltage one first, you know, hey ho. But that's basically been this video, and I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you did, please do smash that like button. I love Bunny, and synergizing with her is genuinely one of my favorite things in this game. So yeah, that's basically been it. Smash that like button, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.